Hello, and hello to everybody here at the Healthy Wealthy Goddess podcast. I am so excited to be joining you all today with the incredible Maddy Alexander Grout, who is a really good friend of mine. We've grown and we've got to know each other over the last 12 months, and the journey's been fab. I've been watching Maddy as she has absolutely spread her butterfly wings and is sharing incredible news around the world, helping educate people to live more financially free, to save money, and to just increase their wealth. And this came from Maddy absolutely smashing her own debt, bringing it right down and getting really savvy with everything financial. Maddy's got an incredible app. I'm sure she's going to share more with you about that as you're listening. And she's just such an inspiration, and her energy is incredible. I'm sure you'll get that from today's interview. So please introduce yourself, Maddy. It's so good to have you here on the podcast with me. I've been desperate to do this interview. Tell us a little bit about you.
I don't even feel like I need to now. That was an amazing intro. Thank you.
Oh,
It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you over the last year, and you've helped me so much as well. So thank
oh,
you very much for everything that you do. It's amazing to be here. So yeah, as Caroline said, I'm Maddy Alexander Grout. I'm your rainbow haired money mentor. I help people with everything money related. So that can be debts, it can be budgeting, it can be spending issues, money mindset, but also growing the money in your business. I am a great believer in using social media to grow your wealth. And I also help to coach people mainly on TikTok, but kind of all social media strategy type stuff. So it's making money, saving money, anything money related.
absolutely. And I feel like the hair deserves its own podcast interview at some stage. We just need to discuss that because
Yeah,
your hair
yeah.
is so incredible. Before we even got started today, we were just sharing about your hair and the colors and the seasons. It's incredible. And I just love connecting with you on that level. But yeah, definitely worth something in the future. But for now, absolutely, let's get down and let's get into business on this, because you are an absolute guru. That the advice that you're sharing and the mission that you're on, and today I believe it's a special anniversary for you, as it's been 12 months to the day. um
Yeah.
you kind of springboarded your business, and went from one avenue to starting new, and you've just been an incredible light in those 12 months. When most people will have crumbled, you've absolutely just put up your big girl pants, as I saw in your
Yeah.
social media post earlier today, and got cracking. And what an inspiration. Now I know, starting anybody who's listening right now that is currently in a situation of debt, it can absolutely turn your world around. You can feel like there's nowhere to go. So with that in mind, I just want to start this interview to say that if you are in that situation, please do reach out to Maddy. She'll be sharing her social connections with you towards the end of this interview, and just come and follow her for inspiration. And I'm sure you guys can connect and she can help with that. So thank you so much, Maddy. Perhaps you could just dive a little bit deeper into your own background and the journey that led you to where you are today.
Yes. So I've been in £40,000 worth of debt twice. So
Oh,
total of 80,000. I cleared it the first time, and that was when I knew that money was my thing. I really connected with it, and having been in a position where I spent too much of it, I didn't have a budget, I had next to no financial education growing up. I knew that I needed to educate myself so that I could get better. And it's the same with all areas of my life. If I don't know something and I need to know something, I'll make it my business to know. And I just became this really savvy saver, from hiding from my debt collectors' bills, hiding from bailiffs, moving cities to get away from the debts that I had, because I genuinely thought running away was the best option at the time. I then kind of found myself and I tackled it head on. I contacted all of my creditors. I arranged payment plans. I created myself a budget. I stuck to some spending rules that I set for myself. And I changed my mindset and I did it all on my own. There
that is
was nobody to help me. There was no there was no money saving expert. There was no like money supermarket. There were none of these kind of helpful websites out there. Um, Really, Google wasn't even a thing. So I just kind of had to make it up and kind of feel my way around and just do it myself. So I created all of these spending rules and kind of taught myself how to be better with money. And then I started a business, and I wanted to make people happy and I wanted to help people. As the cost of living crisis got worse and worse, I took to TikTok to talk to people about spending and money and how to save and how to change your money mindset. And it just took off. And I had a business, which a year ago to the date failed. And I had to go out there and I had to tell people it had failed after 5 years of it being quite successful at times. And that was hard. Although I did pick myself up and put my big brave bird pants on, there was a lot of struggle that went on behind the scenes, a lot of mental struggle, a lot of feeling like I was a failure and just feeling like I wasn't good enough. And that, there was a lot of kind of, I've got ADHD, so it's kind of, I felt like everybody hated me and I needed to go and eat worms, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Um, so when it all came to a head, I thought, what can I do that will help people, that will help me? What did I need in the situations where I was struggling? And what I really needed was a non-judgmental place that I could share my struggles, but get positive responses.
Yeah.
Because Facebook, you go into a Facebook group, you talk about the fact that you're struggling, and yeah, you might get the odd, oh, sorry, but nobody really comes back with positive things that you can do, like actual steps that you can take to take the next step. So I
Mhm.
thought about the fact that if I had a self-development platform where it was social media, but social media with a difference, where we could help people with money and help people with mental health and parenting and neurodivergence and business and work, all of the life aspects that people go through on a day-to-day basis, but they don't necessarily get support. It's like an affordable coach in your pocket, I guess.
Yeah.
So, like a life coach. We help people with tips, tricks, and things that help them in their everyday life. So it was just something that kind of came to my mind of how I wanted to help people because I knew it was something that I needed when I was struggling.
I think that's the main thing here, isn't it? I know from hearing your story in the past, I know that you were quite young when you first started to spiral
Mm,
debt. And as I used to teach, and I used to get so frustrated with the national curriculum. There was just not enough education in schools for children about finance and about, saving and not overspending. I know we've had numerous conversations about that in the past, and it's something that we're both passionate about educating
yeah,
forward. And it's so good to hear that you managed to do that on your own, and like you say, back then there would just weren't, there wasn't, you couldn't just jump online and type in your biggest, darkest, deepest fears and ask questions to Google. It was all very much, you have to deal with this problem on your own.
mm,
It's so good that there are all these organizations out there right now, but if you're in a situation like this for the first time, it's still really hard to know where to go and where to turn to. So
yeah,
that's the importance of this. And I think it's great that you are out there on platforms that are up and present, like TikTok. Your TikTok presence is incredible. I know you've got so many connections on there, and it's so good that you're sharing these tips on there. And it's so wonderful that you almost had this kind of moment of, what did I need? Let's create that for other people, because
mm,
they
yeah,
desperately need it. And
and it's yeah, it was kind of like I wanted a social media platform because I'm a big social media lover. But I'm also a big social media hater as
yeah,
well. Like I loved it when back in the early days where it was like post a status, people reply.
yeah,
Um and it's not that anymore. It's lost its sense of community. And
yeah,
it's also just somewhere where you constantly get sold to. So one of the things when I was creating the Mad About Money app that I wanted to be really conscious of was not having any social pressures. So no algorithms, not having to create a following, not having to get likes or, shares of your posts. It was all about just support and education.
yeah,
But also I wanted to make it a place where people don't sell to each other.
yes,
Um, you know, there is one place within the Mad About Money app where people can buy things, which is the marketplace.
yeah,
So if they want to buy
intentional.
something,
Yeah,
they go and they do it intentionally. And that, if you want to buy something, you want to have a browse, you can go and have a look at all the products and all the services, but there's no pressure. And you can just come on the app just for the support and the education without being bombarded with sales messages all the time because it's hard.
it really,
Yeah.
yeah, especially like you say, if you're in that situation. And people buy on impulse sometimes if they've had a bad day. I know
Yeah.
the psychology behind it is very similar to me as a nutritionist with my clients, like reaching out for a comfort food. It could be spending in your situation. I'm sure you've people like that as well. That's completely why when I have my membership site, it's not on these social media platforms. You want a place that's away from all that sell, a place, a safe community. I love that. So obviously you've had challenges, you've shared some of them with us already. As a business entrepreneur woman, what has been your biggest challenge or obstacle that springs to mind on your journey so far?
So I think it would be actually getting back on the horse and starting a business again after running something that was successful and then failing and then going and getting a full-time job. I actually went back into the corporate world, went back into work. I went to take a job as a chief marketing officer. So I was going and working for somebody else. I hated it. I felt like I was in a box. I felt like I couldn't be me. I mean, they were actually as far as employers go, very open. I worked my own hours. I could keep my hair the same. I was in charge of my day, but I still wasn't doing it for me, and I wasn't following my passion and my purpose.
Yeah.
So for me, I think the biggest hurdle has always been trying to follow my passion and my purpose and making the right money at the same time. I've been working on my own money blocks because I've had them for so long. Because I grew up with no money, and then I went through years of debt, and then I had a business that failed, and all of those things, they do lead to our money mindset. And I've got the best money mindset for my personal finances, but for business, sometimes I have to take a real step back, and I know 100% that I don't charge my worth. So I've really been kind of drilling down into that recently, and actually that has been a massive hurdle, but I think I'm kind of at the stage now where I'm overcoming it. And, if I go and quote something, I've quoted for a public speaking event last week, and I said, what should I be charging? I don't really know what to quote. And somebody said, oh, anything like 1.5 grand to 3 grand, 5 grand. I'm like, what? So I quoted 2 grand, and they came back and said yes. And I mean, that felt really out of my comfort zone, because I'm so used to not making the money that I deserve to make. Not deserve, maybe not the right word, but I'm
it's connected to that level of self-worth, isn't it? And like you said, I work with clients all the time that have low self-worth and low self-esteem, and they never actually putting themselves forwards for what they do deserve. You're right to use that word, and not feeling worthy of. And it's so good to push yourself out of that comfort zone, because that really is where the magic does happen. And that's great to hear that you did do that and you're working on those money blocks. And it's really interesting because in my work, I'm working with entrepreneurs or busy leadership, ladies in leadership, and often they are so close to hitting burnout that they're ready for packing in, handing in the towel, but they want to continue the journey to work for themselves. And it's so lovely to hear that you actually were in the situation where you went back to corporate and you just felt that sense of being in a box, and you're here with a purpose that you've got to deliver, and you're on a mission. And would you say that you're so happy now that you've come back out of corporate and you're doing this?
Oh, absolutely. Like I don't think I am meant for the corporate world. I am outspoken. I'm probably fairly difficult to manage. I think I have too many creative ideas. I mean, too many sometimes, and actually that can be a problem as well when you're running your own business. Because I'm like, oh, I've got and I'm constantly chasing shiny things, which I shouldn't, unless it's money, in which case, I'm happy to chase the shiny things. But there is kind of it's a big world, and there's lots and lots of different things that go into running a business. Everything's connected, so everything you do in your life is connected to money. Everything you do with food connects your relationships, it connects your money, it connects your business, it connects your well-being. Everything you do in your business, you need to eat well, you need to look after your money, you need to be managing your budget, you need to be managing your mental health. All of these things connect together within your life. Absolutely. Even work and entrepreneurship, there is there are people who are in jobs who want to be entrepreneurs. There are people who are entrepreneurs who want to be in jobs. Every single last thing in your life is connected to every single other thing, which is why, I called it Mad About Money, because that was it just felt like the right name.
Yeah.
But it's not just about money. It's
No,
about well-being. It's about self-development. It's about mental health. It's about nutrition. It's about parenting. It's about neurodivergence. All of those things go towards making you better with your money. You just don't realize it yet.
absolutely. I think that's why we're so aligned as well, because everything that I teach in my membership is all about ensuring you're healthy so that you can
Mm.
create this wealth in your life. And I think that's the connection is so, you can't have one without the other. Wealth and health are so massively connected. If you're going all out for financial gain, you're going to hit burnout if you're not looking after yourself. If you're
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then if you're looking after yourself all of the time, but you're not dedicating time into your career, you may be talking the talk and not taking action, you're not going to have that business success and development and financial gain. You're so right. It's a holistic approach to you as a human being and your purpose. And we really do need to remember that we need to fill ourselves up in all of these areas. And I think that's what I love about the Mad About Money app. It's got every single element. It's not just about money. You've got experts in there, as myself, as a nutritionist. You've got all of these holistic approaches so that you're looking after the person from every element and every aspect. And I
Yeah.
love. Okay, so as the goddess version of you, this lady who's gone through all this experience and understands now that health is wealth and that they're all connected, in your experience, how has embracing your inner goddess, your self-care and putting you first, helped you in your personal professional life? Do you have any top tips for our listeners about how you do find that balance? Is there anything that you have done?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's actually about being mindful that you do. So I was in a perpetual cycle of work, burnout, work, burnout. People have often referred to me as the Duracell bunny, and that's because I am. But my battery does run out. And the issue that you have when your battery runs out is that you can't function. And when you can't function in your business, then nothing works around you. So it's a very difficult one, but you do have to be mindful about literally everything that you're doing within your business. So I was in a cycle of perpetual burnout. So I was work, then burnout, then work, then burnout. And it was getting harder and harder to actually recover from the burnout. And people often refer to me as the Duracell bunny because I am genuinely like the Duracell bunny. I will last forever and then my battery will just go and it'll be really unexpected and I won't know when it's coming. But I've worked so hard on understanding my body, listening to my body. If I'm tired, I sleep. If I'm hungry, I eat. I set reminders so that I drink water. I set reminders so that I do eat because ADHD, sometimes I forget to. And that's really important. But also, I have started to take care of myself from a relaxation point of view. So I'm now doing my 2 minutes of mindfulness on my watch every day, just before I go to
fabulous.
sleep. And it really helps. It really does help with sleep. Um, I am actually prioritizing myself. So coming to you, for example, to sort my nutrition out, that's been a
Amazing.
game changer because I was eating so many things that were making my skin bad, they were making my gut bad, they were making me sluggish and tired. And actually now, like I used to, because I've got an autoimmune disease, I used to have a nap every single day. I don't now. I have one every other day. So there's been real progress there, and I can genuinely put that down to you. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on your podcast. It's it
Thank you,
has
madam.
it's really helped, and that's also kind of come as part of like my new package. So actually, we're kind of similar on in terms of the things that we promote, but actually, like I've about to launch a brand new thing, which is to help business owners to focus on themselves.
Yeah,
And it gives people credits every single month to spend on their health and well-being. And it's a way of
amazing.
banking that to make sure that you actually do it. So you can
That,
get counseling, you can get hypnotherapy, product services, massages, spa days. You can actually
love
save it all up and have a spa day. And actually, I'm going to be running a spa weekend at the
fabulous.
end of the year. So actually, if people join, it's a way of them saving up their money so that they can pay to come on a retreat without having to worry too much about the finances of it.
I think
So
that's an incredible idea. So many women put themselves to the bottom of the pile and finance it,
yeah.
especially as a mom, as a business owner.
Mm,
everybody else gets their cut of the money before mum or before you as a woman. And no, it shouldn't be like that. And it's great that you're giving women the opportunity to actually put a little bit away each week or each month, and then just know that that's available for them. And that's a great way of making sure that we are putting our self-care first, because I always say that when you look after the queendom actually thrives. And it's
Yeah.
so important. It's so true. So would you say at one point before you took this approach, before you actually got in tune with your body, that you were running on, when you were saying you were, hitting burnout, not knowing it was coming, would you say that you were so disconnected from your body and you saw maybe yourself and your body as your kind of human carrier, your home for life, as two different entities?
Absolutely. Like all I was focused on was growing my business.
Yeah,
And then it was too late. And at that point, I had no more push. And when you run out of push, your business will fail. And
yeah,
having been there and knowing exactly why my business failed, I mean, there was a number of reasons. There was the pandemic, there was the fact that we ran out of money, which, because of the pandemic, because we couldn't quite catch
yeah,
up with the tech that we'd had built, and it was all a bit of a nightmare. But I did not prioritize myself at all. I was working till 11 o'clock at night. I wasn't having any downtime at the weekends. I wasn't spending time with my children. Definitely wasn't spending any time on myself. No self-care. I wasn't doing any exercise. I wasn't eating properly. And all of those things have changed this year. I'm now
yeah.
getting counselling. I'm getting hypnotherapy for the trauma that I had from my business closing. Sorting out my nutrition, sorting out, my mental health. I've had in the last 3 months, I've had like 5 massages. And I've
Yes.
started budgeting for it so that I include self-care as part of my journey.
That's fabulous. And for anybody listening, even if you just take that bit away and you start to implement small bits of self-care every day, you will start to feel so much better. You'll be more productive when you do hit a production stage, and you'll also have more time for your loved ones and your family. And that is so, so important. And they don't see that, as some women feel that they feel guilty having that time out for themselves, but actually, but in investing in yourself, you're actually giving more back of you when you are with your family. So it's
Absolutely. Yeah.
well, that's absolutely fabulous. Obviously, you've transformed on this journey, not only in your mental health, but your physical health. You've also transformed as an entrepreneur, and your business is propelling forward because of it, which is wonderful. How do you keep yourself motivated and inspired on a daily basis? And what habits or routines have you found helpful? So this can be it doesn't have to be health related. It can be just in business sense. Do you have anybody that you really tune into, that you listen to, that keeps you motivated, or is it something more internal?
Yeah, so I've been listening to a lot of podcasts recently. I really like entrepreneur podcasts. My favorite one at the moment is the High Performance podcast, Jake something or other, Jake Humphreys, I think it is. Really, really good motivational podcast. But it's not just business people, it's like celebrities, it's sports people, musicians, like all types of people. And it's about basically your big, like kind of looking towards your higher self. So I do
Brilliant.
that a lot. Stephen Bartlett's podcast is always good. Some of his guests are a
Yeah.
bit knobbish sometimes, but like some of them are really good. So I do that. But I also I take time away from business, and I think that's really important. Take time
Yeah.
away from business, and I read like just general fiction books and
Good.
relaxing. But I also escape. So
Yeah.
for me, I've always got a box set on the go, or I'm always watching some really naff TV program, normally about dating, or like at the moment it's Big Brother,
Yeah.
because I need to have that time away from the
Yeah.
family, from the business, from everything, where I just escape and I watch mindless crap on the TV. And I find that
Absolutely.
really helps. So that kind of helps me to stay in tune. But I'm always learning, always trying to find new things that interest me. I paint as well, so nobody really knows that about me. Um,
Oh,
but
it's
I
interesting.
but I paint. I paint very bright. I mean, like I would say probably the best kind of person to kind of like liken it to is someone like Georgia O'Keeffe. Like I basically paint like very, very bright looking floral vaginary type things. I don't actually paint vaginas, but like it's it's just I like lots of color. I think I've always liked lots of color. It gives me dopamine. So I just paint lots of color and kind of just see where the paintbrush takes me. it's never going to be Picasso unless I die. No one's ever going to want to buy it. But it's something that I find is really good for mental health, and it helps to keep me focused.
Absolutely. And you've been really open, Maddie, about your journey with ADHD.
Mm.
When were you diagnosed with that?
Last July.
Yeah, I
So
thought it was recent, wasn't it?
yeah, so it's not last July, the July before, last year's July. So yeah, it's been just over a year. And what I've learned about myself is everything. Like
Yeah,
my entire life makes sense, and it didn't before, and I didn't fit in, and I didn't really know why I didn't fit in. I've always been an oversharer. I've been awkward in social situations, but I kind of make up for it because I talk too much, and then people go, "Whoa, she's a bit much." Um, but I've just always been a bit different, and now I know why. It's because my brain is a bit different, and actually, I'm fully embracing it. Now, I'm not one of
so,
those people that goes, "Oh yeah, ADHD is a superpower," because sometimes it is an absolute curse, and actually, some days, like it's the worst thing ever. But
yeah,
I do try and look on the positive sides because if I now that I know knowledge is power, so
yeah.
I can do everything about my brain, to learn about my responses, and to learn why I do certain things and why I feel rejection so much is, a really big thing about my ADHD. But I've now got a coach who's helping me through that, and it's really helpful to just understand how you operate.
Absolutely. And I know you openly talk about that. And I think that's so inspiring about you because there's been so many people who have been left undiagnosed over the years and
Mm,
now finding out later in life. And like you say, it's almost a revelation for them. And for them to have that confirmation is quite peace. It brings peace for them. And that's lovely to hear that you've got that going on and you understand it and can relate to it. And it's so lovely that you're sharing that with other people on your journey, on your socials as well. Okay, then. So let's finish up with what's next for you. You've mentioned some of the things you've got coming. Looking forward to that spa details. Please do share them with me. What have you got going on right now and things that any
yeah.
plans for the future?
So, God, I've got so much going on. So we're raising investment at the moment for the Mad About Money app. So that's really exciting. We've got lots of kind of pitches with investors and bits coming along. We're looking for sponsors as well because it's the
Yeah.
sort of thing that it doesn't the app doesn't make a load of money, but it's a good place for people and something that's really good in the world. So trying to monetize it is quite hard, but we've got lots of different things coming. We've got workshops coming with a lot of our experts. So
Brilliant.
we're going to be running sort of joint workshops on things which are going to be exciting for the community. I am just about to launch my group coaching TikTok program,
Wow.
which is very exciting. I'm just working out the price points. It's a two-stage workshop. So there's the introduction to TikTok and then there's growing on TikTok. They're about 2 months apart. So you do the first one, then you do all the learnings and you go and implement it. And then there's like the growing stage after that. So that's quite exciting.
Are
I've
they,
also sorry, go on.
sorry, Manny, I was just going to say, are they all on accessible online? Are they self-paced or are they done live with you or?
No, they're done live with me. So
Okay.
so that basically it's an hour, both of them are an hour long session, but you do get accountability with me and we do group check-ins and stuff like that as well. So and they're
Fabulous.
going to be affordable. I haven't quite landed on the price point yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
They're going to be launching in the next couple of weeks, as is my membership. So there are three levels. There's the base membership level, which is networking and advertising and a support group. Then there is the middle level, which is £10 worth of self-care credits every month. And then there's the premium package, which is £35 worth of self-care vouchers. And that's the one that I'm hoping people will go for because it's really affordable. Essentially, if you buy that, you pretty much get all of the money back to spend on yourself. So
Amazing.
it's a really good price point. If people pay in advance, they get one-to-one coaching with me as well, for a 90-minute session. So
Is
that's
that can that pay
again
for you?
that yeah, essentially that kind of helps you to pay it back. And then I have also got um I've got some big kind of one-to-one stuff happening. So previously I was just doing power hours, but now I'm doing like retainer packages where I do group coaching for people on anything money related. So they're coming
Yeah.
as well. So there's lots of things happening, but
All
it's
sound really good and all incredible for entrepreneurs that are out there right now that are looking to take their business to the next level, especially at TikTok. It's something that I need to invest in and look into as well. And it's so good to hear that you're sharing your knowledge on that. Because just for anybody that isn't sure about how you're doing on TikTok, please explain a little bit about your journey on that and how you've got to where you are right now.
Yeah, so I started on TikTok in March 2022. It took me a while to get to 1,000 followers, but once I found my groove, I skyrocketed it.
Oh,
And I just fell in love with the platform. I never used to do video content at all. I used to hate it. But I worked out a kind of again a set of rules that I follow,
yeah.
and I worked out a process for myself. And now I regularly get viral videos. I normally get about 3 or 4 a week.
Mm.
And yeah, I'm now on 42,000 followers.
Wow.
I got TikTok verified last week, which was
That's sweet.
mental. And it's
So
weird because they don't just verify anybody, it's
not.
actually like celebrities and notable people. The first thing I did when I went and got verified was go and check out all of the people that I follow who have got massive accounts, and none of them were verified. And I was like, I don't know how I've done this. But actually it's
Yeah,
because I work really hard and I get a lot of press from TikTok. People know who I am externally. It's not about follow count, it's about quality of content, I think, with TikTok.
definitely. I love your
And you,
TikTok videos. They're really, really educational, but also fun. And it's so good to have that regular contact with you. And to just, well, you can see firsthand, go and check out Mad About Money. Go and check out Maddy
yeah,
Alexander Grout on TikTok. And if anybody does want to reach out to you, you're on all the platforms, I think, aren't you, Maddie?
yeah, I think I don't do Snapchat because I'm not
No.
12. But everything else, I'm on Instagram. Maddie Talks Money. Mad About Money Official is on Instagram and on TikTok. LinkedIn, Maddie Alexander Grout. Threads, Twitter. I'm not calling it X because it's still called Twitter. YouTube is probably my worst. I have 29 followers on YouTube, so I'm not massively active there, but you can go and check out my podcast there. And yeah, and also you can listen to the Mad About Money podcast as well, where I interview amazing people about their money journeys. Caroline's been on and was
Yeah.
amazing. So people do need to go and check that out.
Definitely. It's so interesting to hear everybody's individual money story. And I can't wait to go and check yours out, actually. I need to go and listen into that. But thank you so much, Manny, for being a guest here on our Healthy Wealthy Goddess podcast. You are incredible. The work that you're doing is phenomenal. I can't wait to see where you are in the next 12 months, 5 years, 10 years. It's going to be insane. So thank you so
Oh.
much. If
Oh,
you are
thank you for having me. I forgot to mention that actually people should go and download the Mad About Money app as well. That's quite important.
absolutely. How could we forget that? Definitely. If you haven't already, go and head over there and download the app. You won't regret it. And Maddie, I look forward to connecting with you some more over there. Thank you again, Maddie.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.